So here we go. The why of the workshop. Um, Pambira, sa dami-dami ng ginagawa ko sa buhay, ba't pa ba ako nagpo-workshop na yan? Kumbaga, kumbaga hindi naman to requirement na parang ito mamatay ko if hindi ako nag-workshop. Kumbaga, there's lots of things to do. Pero bakit nagsingit ka pa ng workshop coach na eh, feeling namin ang busy mo na. Well, I'll give you a bit of a background, like kung ano ba yung pinag-uugutan ko dito, no? And it all boils down, syempre, sa kung sino ko. Like, I was actually a former teacher. So 2008, I was teaching values education hanggang school year 2011. Pero 2009 was when I actually discovered freelancing. I started to write articles online. And from there, marami na akong iba't ibang na-try na side gigs, both online and offline. So even while I was teaching, I started to be a tour guide and tour coordinator for educational field trips. Nagmamarket din ako ng mga school events like mga film showings at mobile planetarium in different schools in Metro Manila and Mimaropa area. Tapos at the same time, nagmamanage ako ng computer shop. Yan. And then when I quit teaching noong 2011, I tried to have more gigs sa freelancing moving forward. So the computer shop was really, really helpful. Kumbaga, yung full-time freelancing career ko was sa computer shop nangyari. From there, I had lots of na-try na services to offer to different types of markets, niches, clients. Market research, I became a telemarketer for real estate, website development, graphic artist design. Then, naging events manager ako, social media manager, basically all around virtual assistant. And then I started my own VA agency. It eventually failed after 8 months. Naging mortgage strategist ako for my real estate clients. Naging digital marketing director for an LA-based ad agency. Nag-MLM din ako before. Nag-e-commerce ako ng motorcycle parts tsaka print-on-demand na t-shirts. Food catering services is one thing I tried to. Money lending is something I'm doing up to this point. Marketing agency owner ako with a few business partners, which is something I'm doing then up to this point. Micro investments fund manager ako nowadays. Ang freelance thing ko ngayon is business consultancy. And then I'm also into high performance coaching. So basically, that's a snapshot of a 12-year journey from 2008 ngayon 2021. So I've experienced through all that yung dalawang modes of working or yung dalawang spectrums of working na merong hustle mode na todo work, na meron pang time in my life na dalawa yung full-time clients ko, dalawang 8 hours o 16 hours ako nag-work in a day. I only lasted for 6 weeks before ako ma-burn out. So burnout is one thing na naranasan ko na talaga multiple times. Depression is also one thing na naranasan ko multiple times. On and off thing. There's a lot in that 12-year journey na ang laging nalilive na question sa akin is, can I do things better? Or what's better than how I'm doing things now? In terms of productivity, in terms of my performance, in terms of achieving both growth in character and growth in getting my goals met. So, aside from yung hugot na yun, na I know what it's like to struggle with, I can't figure out how to fit things into my life for it to work. Alam ko rin na at this point, even if mas medyo plansyado ko na yung life ko, there are other aspirations pa that I have. So, I aspire to actually be a public speaker. Gusto ko rin maging author. Gusto ko mag-create ng sarili kong card and board game. Gusto kong maging SaaS founder na data science related yung app namin. Gusto ko magkaroon ng microfinancing firm for small business owners. Gusto ko rin magkaroon ng charity foundation based in Philippines and in India that provides digital livelihood opportunities for the impoverished. And there are many more. But basically, why this workshop? Una, kasi alam ko yung pakiramdam ng journey na hindi ko ma-figure out kung paano ko talaga siya i-navigate. And if there's a way that I can help fellow entrepreneurs and freelancers so that they can navigate theirs better, it's such a joy to me. Kasi hindi na kailangan pagdaanan ko kung ano yung pinagdaanan ko. And mas nagkakaroon ng kabuluhan yung pinagdaanan ko kasi now it can help people. Hindi na lang siya basta struggle na kapag naaalala ko, ang dami kong sinayang, ang dami kong maling decision. Now it can be used for something better, can be used for something good to help people achieve kung ano yung in store for them. And yun, at the same time, I am also learning. Whenever I share my journey and these principles, the frameworks and everything else, nakikita ko yung mga bagay from the perspective of other people, from your experiences. And it's such an honor to me na makita yung perspectives ng iba kasi it continually refines kung ano yung meron ako. So that yung aspirations ko pa moving forward, yeah, maybe there's something there that I can discover. Things na hindi ko pa alam, things na hindi ko pa napansin, hindi ko pa nakita. Pero posibleng ikaw, nauna mo yung nakita. And now, it's not just a one-way giving of value na parang sa akin mangyayari lahat. I don't see it that way. I'm co-learners, co-lifetime students with everyone here in this group. So, yun, ito yung main na nahugot ko why this workshop. Because I want a group of people I can also grow with and give value to. Yeah, so, since established naman na natin, nabanggit ko na sa inyo through the emails, ano ba yung objectives ng workshop na to? Okay? So, yung main objectives niya, dalawa lang. And this will happen within a 2-day period. Yung first day is ngayon. And then yung second day is bukas. Kasi I'll be sending out a material for you to answer to finalize lahat ng nakuha nyo from the workshop tonight. can be put into a written plan by tomorrow as I give you the template for it. So it's like a 2-day journey which can help you optimize things. So this is, ito yung dalawang bagay na makukuha nyo. First is a personalized checklist. Ang purpose is to perfect your own work environment. So that's internal and external. So yung personalized checklist na yun, yun nga, personalized siya. So it's gonna be your decisions talaga, and ikaw yung mag-decide what to put there. But there will be a guideline on how you can like utilize that. Second is scheduling framework. What makes decisions faster and eliminates a lot of friction sa decision-making process natin dun sa weekly na stuff that we need to do. Right? So these are the rapid-fire results na we can get out of this workshop. And again, it's a kickstart. It's a starting point to better efficiency moving forward. Hindi siya yung parang end-all be-all, but it's a push towards a clear, solid, right direction. Yeah. So let's identify something. Kasi nung una kong pinangalanan yung subtitle ng workshop na to, like perfecting your work environment. If I remember it correctly, nag-post lang ako sa timeline ko. And yung post sa timeline na yun was basically a parang if I'm not mistaken, it's sino ba dito yung interested magkaroon ng workshop on perfecting your internal and external work environment. Which is there's lots of responses and almost every one of you guys actually responded to that. Pero it got me thinking, perfecting is such a strong word. Like if you look at it, perfecting is such a strong word. Kasi diba, madalas natin ito narinig eh, nobody is perfect. Diba, parang pag sinabi mong perfection, it's kumbaga yun na yun eh. Yun na yung climax, yun na yung pinakamataas, it's the highest of heights. No? Kumbaga wala nang masihigit pa doon. But I'd like to explain a bit of a context no? dun sa word na perfecting. What is it from my perspective? Perfecting, one meaning niya is yun nga, yung highest of heights, or like the full thing, or the complete thing. On the flip side, another meaning of it is that it is lacking nothing. It is lacking nothing. Meaning, at the moment, it's enough. So there's a sense in which perfection is viewed as like the highest ideal, but we can also have perfect moments. Diba? Na tipong, hindi siya yung ideal or yung pinaka-maximum that you can experience, pero for that specific time frame, for that specific period, it feels perfect. So, mas nandun yung notion or yung perspective ko when it comes to perfecting. It is finding kung ano yung pinaka-useful and pinaka-sapat para sa'yo ngayon. So in your journey, kung ano man yung hinihit mo na goals, kung ano man yung sitwasyon mo, ano yung roles that you play, perfecting is actually the process of looking at your systems and finding it enough or being satisfied in it. Yes, meron pa siyang pwedeng improve kasi iba yung perfection sa perfecting, pero it is enough for you at the moment. So that's the concept of perfecting. So it's still gonna be a continual improvement from it. Now, what actually ano yung mga principles na related to this, to perfecting your work environment? Paano masabi na yung isang work environment is nandun sa process of perfecting? I outlined here 3 main things. And here we go. Letter A, efficiency over time. What this entails is habang tumatagal, less yung effort required so that you can accomplish the same quality of output. So less yung kailangan mong exert na energy, probably less than yung time that you need to do, to give so that you can do a specific output. Okay? So you can say that your systems are in the perfecting mode if it becomes more efficient over time. Next, self-care is intact. Meaning, continually you're working on something, pero hindi mo nako-compromise yung sarili mong well-being. So that includes your physical, emotional, and even the mental aspect, which is a big thing nowadays, especially in the pandemic period that we have. So, meron kasing mga times na we can go hard talaga, like hustle, and accomplish a lot of stuff. Pero if at the end of the day, it will lead us to be burned out or like nawawalan ng fulfillment or satisfaction yung work that we do, or tayo mismo nagkakasakit and stuff, then it's not the ideal kind of system or work environment. And then thirdly, fast track reaching goals. So when you're perfecting your work environment, napapansin mo na bumibilis yung progress mo. Momentum is being built. As opposed to mag-effort ka for one time, tapos mapuputol na naman, tapos magdidip na naman yung way mo of doing things, tapos try mo ulit mag-recover, and then try mo ulit mag-build ng momentum, and then mapuputol na naman. And the cycle, that loop, can sometimes be so draining. And ito yung pinagkaiba ng perfecting work environment, nabibuild mo yung momentum mo. Hindi siya napuputol. Hindi ka na stuck in the same loops. Okay? So, you can also look at this not as principles, but as the main benefits for pursuing perfecting your work environment, both external and internal. Okay. So, time check lang ako saglit. Ang aga ko pa. Okay, sige. So, next thing, this is a backdrop from one of the frameworks that I'm using for coaching. This is called the Triple S framework. Simply because sa S sila nagsisimula lahat. Wala namang ibang bonggang explanation doon. What we're looking at here is yung tatlong life areas natin. Okay? So, anything that you're pursuing in life will just fall in either one of these areas mainly or an overlap of these areas. Pero meron pa ring mananatiling main area and then mas secondary yung iba. Okay? So when it comes to self, this is all about our personal well-being. So tayo mismo, sarili natin mental, emotional, physical health. Okay? Yung social aspect naman of life is all about people relationships. So anything that revolves around other people in our life, any layer of relationship, be it love life, your family, kids, friends, best friends forever, like even kaaway mo, like tipong kapitbahay mong hindi namimigay ng palabok kahit may birthday sa kanila. Like that's part of social. Any other person in your life is part of the social aspect. And then next is success. Success touches on anything that's related to building the lifestyle that you want. So yung prerequisite like finances, finding a career that you love, building a business that sustains your lifestyle, all of those is pasok to success. So these three life areas, if you can view the different priorities that you have in life and categorize them into the main area that they actually revolve around in, dito sa tatlo na to, mas simplify yung way mo of prioritization. Example, if you're gonna prioritize success, let's say for year 2021, ang focus mo ay success, then you know na social and self would need to somehow be in the back seat. Kumbaga, pag pinagsabay-sabay mo sila, mas mahihirapan ka. And I explained this further sa ibang sessions. I won't explain it further now. But basically, it is best to pick one area of life to build for a specific time frame instead of sabay-sabay silang binibuild lahat in equal pacing. Why? Kasi we have limited resources. And more than money, ito yung limited resources that I'm actually talking about. It's summed up in the acronym T for time, energy, and attention. These are all very limited resources. Meaning, paubos sila lagi. Time, alam na natin, it's something that we don't have control over. Kusa siyang gumagalaw even if ayaw mo. Diba? Sana nga meron talagang time first sa buhay, diba? Minsan, like a time out. But sadly, no. It just continues to move even if sabayan man natin siya o hindi. Next is energy. Energy is actually a whole, like, a lot, parang sobrang haba niyang discussion if we're going to discuss energy in itself. But if it's the basic thing, you can look at it as your capacity to perform. So this is your ability to actually do something, to exert effort. Right? And then lastly is attention. Attention is where we focus it is our ability to focus. So that almost always includes our thoughts. And then it trickles down into how we feel about things. And then also, yung feelings natin, it trickle down into our actions. Okay? So very limited tong time, energy, and attention. Now, for most productivity that you'll see, most of the things na makikita nyo about productivity will touch on time management. Time management. And this is the basic level of productivity, managing time. Very few people actually dive deeper into managing energy and attention. Kasi this is something na mas intangible. Mas mahirap siyang i-measure. And kumbaga, kung yung time management pa lang, ang hirap nang i-figure out for other people, kumbaga hindi na siya nagiging sustainable na pag-aralan and i-apply, how can people actually advance pa into energy and attention management? Kumbaga, nalileft out kung ano yung mas mahalaga dahil people can break through dun sa pinakamababaw. However, my approach is very different. So, it's not about kumbaga, what optimizes things is not about starting with the surface level, tapos palalim. What I do from the start is starting from the pinakamalalim so that it actually trickles down dun sa pinaka-surface level. So most of the productivity we'll talk about tonight, and even in perfecting your work environment, will not revolve around time management. It will revolve around how you manage your attention and how you manage your energy. Because where your attention is, there is where your energy flows. And where your energy flows, those are the activities that naturally consume your time. So even if we focus on time management, pero we don't develop the skills to manage energy and we don't develop the skills to manage our attention, very low impact lang yung productivity na makikreate natin out of our effort. But if we go deeper to the root cause of what maximizes the use of our time, if our attention is solid, if our energy is solid, then yung use natin of time will be solid. So yeah, this workshop is not for the basics. It's not for the basics. This is more an advanced thing. And since it is advanced, I'm not expecting na people will get everything that we'll discuss tonight. Pero, hindi mo rin dapat i-expect sa sarili mo yun. Kumbaga, this is something na kung ano yung makuha mo, you get insight out of it. As long as you take action on that, useful na yun. And you will see from the examples of other people from this group as they apply things, then kung ano yung na-apply mo sa sarili mo, they will learn from it. Kung ano yung na-apply nila sa sarili nila, you will learn from it. So, do not try to grasp everything, but kung ano yung nag-resonate sa'yo, kung ano yung may connection sa'yo from within, kung ano yung tingin mo, ay, okay to, para sa akin to, pwede ko tong tutukan, pwede ko tong gawin, focus on that. You don't have to get everything. You start with one thing that you resonate with, and that will be a warm-up exercise for the rest of how this can go. Okay? Haba pa ng oras ko, pero yeah, but we'll dive into exercise time. Okay? So this is our second breakout room. Okay? Yeah, and yeah, natutuwa ako kasi medyo na-learn ko na yung tech nito. Anyway, first time. Here are the questions for our breakout room. Okay. First, what activities energize you? Okay. Not sure if this is something na natatanong sa sarili nyo ng madalas and all. I'm just assuming madalas masyado tayong busy to actually see if things are energizing us or draining us. Okay. So ngayon, dive tayo deeper into awareness. Kasi we cannot change something na hindi natin napapansin. Something. Okay, so 2 volunteers would like to share.
Ako agad, gusto mag-volunteer.
Go here.
Nalilito kami sa draining energy. Kasi parang high-level concept yung draining energy namin. Parang hindi siya yung tipong mag-plancha na de-drain kami ng energy. Hindi ganun eh. Parang okay kami sa nag-energy sa amin. We're specific about it. Yung nag-drain sa amin, we're specific. Where what recharges us, specific kami doon. Pero sa drain, it's more of floating kami doon. Parang, which is I like to know, di ba? Parang, wait lang, ano ba talaga yung nag-drain? So parang ang inasasuggest ko, let's dumb it down. Sabi ni Kat, baka empat ka lang. Tapos sabi ni Rika, baka empat ako, sinikang nga ako doon.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay, so
anyway, sige ko na. Yeah.
Sige. Clarify natin yan. Pero like, so yun yung sa group ninyo?
Yeah, sa group namin, yung hindi namin masyadong ma-identify. Di ba, Rix? Di ba? Yung ano.
Kasi nag-overlap, parang nabitin na si Hero sa pag na
What drains us?
Nag-clean ka ng banyo. It's draining from the start, but it will energize you or recharge you afterwards. Parang ganun naman, which is my point.
Madidrain talaga yung kasi.
Sorry. Ganito. Parang what drains you also recharges you and energizes you.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Alright. Oh, sige. Masaya to kasi like we're gonna compare notes.
Yeah.
How about another group? Like another volunteer from another group.
Kami,
Go.
talaga ng mukha ko, no?
Go, Elite. Go.
Kanina, lahat kami consistent dun sa drain part. Lahat kami ayaw namin sa maingay. Parang
Yeah.
more of mental clutter yung naging common sa amin lahat. Ganon.
Nice. Meant to be.
Yeah.
So parang dapat one at a time lang yung sasalita, tapos wala nag-video kayong kapitbahay.
Oo. So feeling ko pag lahat kami pinagsama-sama mo sa isang kwarto para mag-co-work, masaya kaming lahat. Lahat kami
Cool.
feeling ko.
Yeah, there are actually applications to this. Sige. So feedback time muna tayo for like 10 minutes. Okay? Or probably we'll end feedback at 14 minutes para 7:50. Okay, feedback time, we can actually ask questions. But I'll give a few insights muna when it comes to energy. So yung kanina, yung overlap, diba? Parang iisa lang yung activity, pero there's a part of it that drains and there's a part of it that energizes. Okay? So a few things that you can look at is ano yung pre, ano yung proper, and ano yung post. Meaning, ang isang activity, meron kang specific energy condition before you do it, meron kang specific energy condition while you're doing it, and meron kang specific energy condition after you've done it. Okay? So, minsan, even if yung activity is dreadful, kasi alam mo mabigat siya, or like, mahirap siyang gawin, pero if rewarding siya afterwards, so, energy-wise, it's a cool thing to do. It's a cool thing to schedule. Pero, yung isang thing to consider is, do you have enough energy in the first place bago mo gawin yung activity? Yung pre. Yung pre is important. Kasi that's a factor din. If, kumbaga, pag ginawa mo yung activity, tulog ka na ba after? Or may chance ka pa to actually be rewarded nung energizing activity na yun afterwards. Okay? So that's one layer to look at. Yung pre, proper, and post. Ano yung conditions before, during, and after the activity. And this will differ from person to person. Okay? Again, energy is more subjective. It is experiential. So personalized talaga to. Kaya ang hirap niyang gawan ng parang one size fits all na dynamic. Pero there are patterns. Okay, now, when it comes naman sa yung activities na hindi mo figure out or parang merong same pa rin overlap. May drain siya and or may recharge siya, may drain siya and may energize siya. You can look at time frame of doing the activity. So kanina, umiikot ako sa breakout rooms, merong isang nagbanggit. tago na lang natin siya sa pangalang Rika. Yung gaming or playing games. So, you mentioned, Rika, na that's an energizer, right? Or more of a, kumbaga, nakapahinga ka physically, kasi like, ano naman siya,
Yes,
parang
physically,
hindi-
naka-recharge, mentally, nakaka-energize.
Gotcha. So, may mga overlaps, diba? Pero, meron din certain activities na, if you do it after a specific amount of time, kumbaga, it's energizing sa simula. Pero pag lumampas ka na dun sa time frame, nagiging draining na siya. Kumbaga, meron siyang threshold, and yung threshold na yun is depende sa person. Example, ako probably I can coach for like sunod-sunod na session, 1 hour sessions, 6 to 7 hours straight. Pero hindi ko pa naman na-try yun. Pero if mag 8 hours, 9 hours, I think I would like drop dead after. Hindi ko alam paano mangyari, pero pa-dip na yung energy. Na meron din ganun. Minsan nag-mobile games ako and it's enjoyable and exciting and stuff. Pero wala lang pag natalo ka. So iba, pag natalo kasi iba yung let's say kahit panalo ka ng sunod-sunod, if after a few games, like ano na siya, mag-neutral to pababa yung energy. So that's one thing to look at as well, yung haba ng time frame that you're spending on an activity. And kung saan yung threshold na bumababa o tumataas yung energy. So those are for activities that you find overlaps in the energy levels. Ayan. Okay, let's open this up for the next 10 minutes for questions. Meron ba kayong gustong i-clarify, gustong itanong about anything we've discussed so far?
Meron ako.
Go, Adi.
Is there a possibility to turn a draining activity into a recharging activity?
Yes, yun yung next part. Actually, two, pala, like next part. Hindi pa next.
Okay, thank you.
It has something to do with motivation. Yeah. Or basically, ano yung pinaghuhugutan mo for the activity in the first place.
Follow up kage. Yung post kasi, may post.
Okay.
Sige
Go.
lang, hindi na-address yung post eh. What if, parang workout, post siya.
Sure.
Post, it energize yung post activity. So parang, how do I address those post activities? Actually, enlightening, insightful nga to eh, kasi may mga post activities pala na dapat yung i-consider na I can leverage. What are your thoughts on that? Parang, how do I identify those post
Let's look at physical activity. Physical activity energizes you for the next 3 to 4 hours. Kung lighter yung workout mo, the next 2 to 3. Pero if mild workout to heavy workout, like 3 to 4 hours afterwards, pataas yung energy. Pero after that, magdidip na siya. Para din siyang kape. Like pag nagkape ka, you are energized for like specific amount of time. Depende sa tao. Kung yung dugo mo kape na, syempre less na yung effect mo. Pero like, yeah, my time frame where your energy spikes and my time frame where your energy dips.
Time frame basically.
Yep. You need to find your own patterns. Pag nag-workout ka ba, gaano katagal ka na-energized, then you can utilize that time to do other stuff na kailangan nasa high energy level mode ka.
Noted.
Like if after mag-workout, nag-Netflix ka, yung Netflix doesn't require energy from you. So parang palong-palo ka pa din pero hindi match yung activity that you're doing. Yeah. So
Noted. Perfect answer kage.
anything else? Like bato nyo lang, we have 7 minutes.
Same daw.
Meron pa ba? May questions ba ako na-miss?
So, you can do the same activity na magmamatch yung energy mo. Like, you can do multitask na like nagwawalis ka tapos nakikinig ka sa podcast.
Let's look at multitasking. So multitasking is basically, gumagana lang siya if attention is not divided. Example, for pagwawalis habang nakikinig ng podcast. Yung pagwawalis kasi is a motor skill. It requires physical reflexes. Kumbaga, kapag alam mo na magwalis, kaya mo na magwalis kahit di mo siya pinag-iisipan, it will not require your mental capacities to be engaged. Pero listening to a podcast will require na yung focus mo is pinapakinggan mo siya and like, kino-comprehend mo siya. So your attention is on, your mental capacity is on the podcast, your physical capacity is on like sweeping the floor. So that can merge together as like a multitasking combo. Pero if 2 tasks require the same capacity, kunyari parehong mental. Example, 2 webinar pinapanood. So, pero tinatry pa rin natin minsan, di ba? Pero alam natin na mas less na yung quality na nakukuha natin from it. Yeah, hindi na siya maximum quality. Compromised yung pwede nating makuha. Now, even in this, like kunyari, bakit ko ina-encourage yung mga tao na mag-video on workshops, coaching calls and stuff? Kasi merong mga bagay, may nag-on lang ng video. Anyway, bakit ina-encourage? Kasi nangyayari yun eh, kapag naka-off yung video natin, mas madaling makuha yung attention natin ng ibang mga bagay. Like, nakikinig ka sa coaching pero nag-Facebook ka din, o kaya may ka-chat ka na iba, tapos nadadilute yung comprehension on both ends. Minsan hindi mo na maintindihan yung ka-chat mo, tapos ang nasa-chat mo sa kanya yung dapat para sa coaching. Tapos yung nangyayari kahit sa akin eh. So, alam lang natin na kapag pareho yung capacities na kailangan of both activities, here it is. So sa attention siya, pero ibig sabihin, doble rin yung consumption ng energy mo. if you're multitasking for activities that have competing capacities, no? Ibig sabihin, mas malaki yung nakakain na energy sa'yo, pero mas less yung output or quality na nakukuha mo. Which is hindi natin yung napapansin, pero that's part of what usually drains us. Kasi isa lang yung dapat pinagtutuunan natin ng pansin. Pero tinatry nating doblehin. Thinking somehow, it's a myth eh, na parang pag pinagsabay mo, parang more is better. Pero compromise yung quality, tapos doble pa yung energy it requires. So lugi tayo sa huli. Multitasking can only happen if one activity is on a carrier mode, tapos one is on a background mode. Sipin mo, like, so some people work with music, diba? Some music has lyrics. Some music instrumental lang. It's better to work with music na walang lyrics. Kasi hindi ka napapakanta at napapasayaw instead of nagta-type ka or like nagde-design. Diba? Kasi napapatalon ka pa sa upuan mo kapag may lyrics. Example, anime music yung pinapakinggan mo, tapos may iba kang work na kailangan gawin. Tapos, diba, pag tumunog yung parang Ohio ng Hunter x Hunter, parang nagbabalik lahat ng alaala mo, tapos feeling mo superhero ka. Tapos nawawala na yung focus mo dun sa kailangan mo gawin. So, like, simple stuff like that. But this is why ito yung nakakatawa. These are high-level concepts, but its applications in life are so simple. Kaya rin hindi ako masyadong nangangamba to discuss this with people kasi if these concepts are converted into action, as in, doable naman siya in the first place. I just don't want it to be like a pure discussion thing, na puro discussion lang of the concepts. Kasi wala tayong mapapala dun. Magmumukha lang siyang something na hindi natin fully magagrasp. That's why encouragement ko, if there's one thing you can get out of it, one thing you can take action kagad, do it na. Kasi that's what creates ripple effects and more opportunities and basically builds your momentum towards the same application. If you look to the same direction and you pursue that direction, mas marami kang makikita na according to that direction. Yeah. Any other question? We have a minute. Go ahead.
Coach, paano kapag yung nakapag-drain sa'yo is kailangan mong gawin? Parang gano'n.
Gotcha. I get you. I heard you kanina man. This is where, ibig sabihin, hindi sustainable para sa'yo kung ano yung ginagawa mo ngayon. And sometimes it's a sad truth na even if yung bagay na magaling na tayo and sanay na tayo and doon tayo kumikita and like doon tayo kilala ng mga tao, if it's not sustainable for us energy, sorry nalaglag yung mic ko. If it's not sustainable for us moving forward, here's the thing, you need to dissect. Gusto mo yung ginagawa mo kasi merong part doon that fulfills you. Pero yung part that fulfills us in the skills that we do, it's not because of the skill. Kumbaga, yung skill is just an outlet for that fulfillment to happen. So if you can figure out kung ano yung nakapag-fulfill sa'yo within the context of that skill, yung fulfillment na yun can be transitioned or converted into another activity that fulfills. I'm not saying you leave behind, like kung ano yung main skill mo, but you can start a journey of exploring. It can be as simple as, if you zoom out in the context of what you do, baka hindi na yung nitty-gritty work yung gusto mo. Baka ang gusto mo is more on the strategy level na. So you can combo with people that can do the nitty-gritty work for you while you are being fulfilled doing the strategy part. What if ang gusto mo is yung client relationship building na part lang, and then the execution of everything else pwedeng ipasa mo na sa iba? This is how we evolve talaga as people. Kapag magaling tayo sa isang bagay, may mastery na tayo doon, kusa tayo magde-develop ng craving for a new experience. But at the same time, kukontrahin rin tayo ng subconscious mind na i-pursue kagad yung same experience kasi that threatens survival, that threatens the status quo, that threatens kung ano yung nakasanayan. So it's perceived as something that can be dangerous kasi bago yun, hindi siya parte ng sistema. There's a hack to that and it's related to core values. If you're pursuing things that are in line with your core values are the principles that you live by. These are the identifiers of your identity. If pasok sa pagkatao mo, yung pinupursu mong panibagong thing, less yung resistance at friction in between the subconscious and your conscious choice of pursuing something new. So your core value is the bridge between the two. Yeah.
Lagi pa ulit, less yung resistance sa
It's yung friction at resistance between the subconscious and your conscious choice of something new.
Okay.
If the
Hindi
core
naman,
value
grabe
is-
mga scientific terms.
I realize jargon stuff here. But yeah, pero like, you can look at, in the context of video editing, ano yung parts that you enjoy? Ano yung parts that you want to do more of? Ano yung parts na kahit yun lang yung mag-stick ka na gawin, alam mo sustainable siya para sa'yo. And then the rest, you find a way to automate. Some of it can be eliminated, some of it can be delegated. So tapos na tayo feedback time, we're gonna go to the concept of charge. The meaning of charge is, this is where your energy flows. Okay, charge is your energy flow. Okay? And dalawa lang yung pwedeng maging flow ng charge. It's either positive or negative. Positive if papasok, internal, it adds to you. And then negative if it's outflow or you're drained or ikaw yung nag-i-spend ng energy. Okay? So that's the concept of charge. Now, merong mga activities as we like given examples kanina. Merong mga activities na palabas talaga energy, pero din papasok yung energy. But the idea is lagi siyang merong percentages. Kumbaga, activities will always have a percentage that gives to you and na ikaw naman yung nagbibigay. So lagi siyang may external and internal, lagi may positive and negative charge. It's just that if yung activities that we're pursuing, tuloy-tuloy yung negative charge, paubos lang tayo. And madalas, ito yung nangyayari. Ang madalas na problema is hindi natin quantify at nailalagay na yung optimize sa buhay natin. Ano yung mga activities na merong positive charge? So hindi sila napaprioritize. Therefore, mag-effort tayo sa ibang mga bagay. We're trying to build momentum. Pero, paubos ka. Paano ka makakapag-build ng momentum na sureball na hindi yun mapuputol kung lahat ng charge mo is negative? Kung hindi na mo consider paanong nagiging balanse yung positive and negative charge natin. Okay? So, in many cases, which are somewhat extreme, like for people I've coached na burnout sila and then trying to get back, we're not scheduling work as the main thing nila for the week. Ang una namin ini-schedule is ano yung rest times and recharge times nila. Inuuna namin lahat ng bagay that ensures na meron silang positive charge. And kapag naka-schedule na yung mga yun, tsaka lang namin ini-schedule working around yung naunang schedule na yun. Tsaka namin sinisingit kung kailan yung work. Pero sa atin, di ba, ang madalas, i-schedule mo lahat ng work, tapos tsaka may sisingit kung kailan yung rest or recharge. And minsan, hindi pa natin na-honor yung mismong schedule na yun. Na nag-schedule ka na dapat i-idlip ka, pero dahil maraming work, di ka na i-idlip. Diba? And a whole lot of other stuff like that. The key to perfecting your work environment, one of the keys, the main keys, is to be conscious about structuring the charge of your schedules and your activities. Is this making sense? If we leave yung charge to chance, mas malaki yung instances and yung possibility na paubos tayo. Therefore, no matter how good your progress is, mapuputol yun kasi ubos ka na. Mapipilitan kang magpahinga. Sometimes it can be in the form of the physical, nagkakasakit tayo. Sometimes it can be in the form of pinipilit mo magtrabaho pero di na talaga gumagana yung utak mo. Work, lahat pero yung utak mo nasa Boracay. Diba? Lumalang mo nagsasurf. Ganun eh. I mean, pinagpapahinga na tayo ng sarili nating utak. Kumbaga, hey, tama na yan. Ano naman, pahinga ka naman. So wala na siyang nilalabas na something for productivity. Ang push niya na sa atin is more on, pahinga ka, magbakasyon ka, tumingin ka ng mga stuff sa Airbnb or kung ano man. Diba? Doon na siya. Tumatakbo siya sa parang, sino ba yung pwede kong makausap ngayon? Nausap lang talaga, hindi about work. Tumatakbo siya sa pakikipag-chat sa like people na alam mong hindi ka mapapaisip ng about sa trabaho. Diba? There's a lot of instances, like iba-iba for each of us. Pero yun yung tendency. It's actually a good thing. Kasi we are naturally distracted and yun ay signal na magpahinga. Sometimes we view distraction as a bad thing. But in a fast-paced world, especially for a person na hindi structured yung week niya para magkaroon ng conscious na positive charge, yung distractions ay nagsisilbing munting paalala ng sarili nating utak para magpahinga. So it's not always a bad thing. Pag na-reach mo na yung limit mo, your brain will actually give you signals to rest. So bakit maraming taong distracted na yun? Mostly it's because of that. Because part of self-care is taking care of your energy flow, your charge. But since this is something that people do not actually know about, or even dare to think about, or even have spaces to explore about, hindi na something na consciously natututukan. Napapabayaan lang natin siya. Kasi ang most productivity na alam natin is nasa level lang of time management. So charge. Now, here are a few things lang. I have 10 minutes. Okay. Here are a few things para magkaroon ng structure yung charge natin. Okay? So we're touching now on motivation. And I'm going to be sending a link dito sa chat. This is something you can explore. Like after nitong like 8 minutes, the rest of our time will be used for Q&A. But I've sent the link. You can actually check it out right now. Sige, stop ko muna yung sharing nito. I'm going to go to the website itself. This is actually one of my most favoriteest na
Is it Swiss ba,
concept.
coach? Hindi English?
Sadly, it is. But sige, papakita ko lang sa inyo how to actually use this. Okay. Ano yung benefit niya? Zoom. Okay. Yeah. So if you're seeing the website right now, this is where you'll go. Actually, yung language nila is hindi pure English. So it's not as easy to study. Ako, I actually bought resources lang and took their test. That's why I actually dive deeper into it. But this is the RMP or Rice Motivation Profile. It shows us kung ano yung pinaguhugutan natin for our decision making. Okay? So ito lang yung gusto kong ipakita sa inyo. Itong part na to of the website. Because these are the 16 types of motivations na meron bawat tao. Okay? And here's the cool hack. Example here, power. Pag kinlik mo siya, so lalabas yung description niya. Okay. So this is something you can explore for yourself. But the idea here, okay, these are your natural motivators. Every person nag-ooperate on their top 4 na motivations. So these are also called your core drivers. Lahat ng decisions that a person will make will be based on the top 4 core drivers. And yung top 4 core drivers natin, nabibuild siya into our life through the different experiences that we've had. Wala tayong control sa kung ano yung nabibuild na drivers natin. Pero yung mga events sa buhay natin that have high emotion, high impact, and high energy, yung mga tipong naka-apekto talaga sa atin ng matindi, yun yung nag-shape sa core drivers natin or sa motivations natin. Now, ano yung benefit if maging familiar ka sa top 4 core drivers mo? Lahat ng bagay that you're pursuing, nakakabuti man siya sa'yo o nakakasama, lahat ng decisions that you are creating for the activities na ginagawa mo, it's because meron kang finufulfill na core driver. Meron kang finufulfill na motivation. It can be one or a combo of those top 4 motivations. So if you can decode kung ano yung nagmo-motivate sa'yo, so same thing lang to. What will motivate you in building your business to become like a 6-figure thing or a 7-figure empire is the same motivations na meron ka kung bakit naglalaro ka ng Mobile Legends. Kung ano yung nagmo-motivate sa'yo na manood ng Netflix, and minsan Netflix is nagiging kaagaw ng other productive stuff, it's actually the same motivations pa rin that will lead you to do the more productive stuff. If you can decode kung ano yung nagmo-motivate sa'yo, you can direct where your positive charge will go. And mas maiintindihan mo kung bakit you're pursuing other activities na negative yung nagiging charge sa'yo. Pero makikita mo rin na may alternative ka naman talaga ng other activities na positive yung pwedeng maging charge. So I invite you to look into this. And part of the activity I'll be sending sa inyo via email is the activity to determine your top 4 core drivers. That is part of the checklist and what will make it easier to schedule activities for you using the framework that I have. That's basically it for the core drivers. Okay. And right. So we actually have until 9 p.m. to do some free fall coaching here. So if you have any questions or something you need to clarify, pwede natin siyang pag-usapan. Or meron bang gusto mag-song and dance number muna? Like, fill the dead air. Yeah, okay, sige. Alam ko rin medyo alanganin yung oras natin. So baka yung iba gutom na, di ba? Stuff. Pero yeah, let me know if you have questions. Okay, sige. I'm looking into the chat. Baka may mga na-miss ako. Charms, do you see like questions? Baka may na-miss ako.
May question si Ira.
Wala pala si Charms.
Wala si
Si Ira. May question si Ira.
Okay, let me look at it. Okay. So unahin ko kay Glenn. Yeah, so from Glenn, Coach, paano yung pag nade-drain ka sa di mo naintindihan? Yung bilang ako kasi, so studying phase ako kaya. Okay. So, this is a cool thing kasi there's deeper concepts when it comes to charge. One example. Sasabog ko yung utak mo hero. I'll give you something. Okay. Kapag mahal na mahal mo yung isang tao, mas malaki rin yung chances na mainis ka sa kanya o maapektuhan ka sa mga bagay na ginagawa niya that doesn't sit well with you. Merong mga sobrang liliit lang na bagay, di ba? Na tipong yung suot niya lang na short is 1 inch higher than your preferred. And then it becomes an argument. It becomes something where the charge goes, where the energy goes. Kahit simpleng bagay lang siya. It's because there's a level of importance that is being given to a specific thing, a specific person, a specific scenario, a specific vision, a specific perspective, belief, or whatever. So, one good example yan. Now, in relation dun sa sinasabi mo, Glenn, paano pag nade-drain ka kasi hindi mo naiintindihan kasi newbie ka pa lang? Kasi importante sa'yo. Importante sa'yo yung learning about this. Importante sa'yo yung freelancing. Importante sa'yo yung chance to make this work. Importante sa'yo yung layers na dapat maging successful to. Is this something that I'm catching on, Glenn? Is this something you can confirm? You can unmute, bro. Like, we're Q&A session naman. Okay, gotcha. Now, sobrang importante niya sa'yo. Yung energy mo, mas mako-consume ng higit pa sa kailangan. It's a natural thing. Sorry bro, medyo choppy yung line.
No, he's chopping also.
You can type it. You can type your answer. Oh, medyo choppy yung sa line. Wait ka namin. Type your answer, man. In the meantime, so alcohol muna ako. So keep safe, everyone. Yeah. So then, type mo lang, bro. But with that concept, yung energy mo napupunta hindi doon sa pag-take ng action o doon sa learning, napupunta doon sa dapat hindi to mag-fail. Napupunta doon sa bakit hindi ko to maintindihan. Napupunta doon sa paano kaya pag dito nag-work. Is this making sense? Kanina tinouch natin yung mental capacities in multitasking. Kapag dalawa yung pinagtutuunan natin ng attention, doble yung energy na nako-consume sa atin. So, we're like in Glenn's case, he's learning something, pero dahil hindi niya na-learn ng kasing bilis as expected or like or according to the pacing na gusto niya, pati yung nagiging attention niya towards the other stuff. Napupunta yung attention into baka mag-fail to or hindi to mag-work. Eh yung something na yun is importante sa kanya. So there's a layer na the divided attention consumes more energy and then yung importance pa of that thing consumes more energy. So magiging draining talaga. Yeah, parang multiple tabs nga, parang kulang yung RAM mo to process lahat ng tabs na naka-open sa browser. Paano ma-overcome, bro? There is a way to reduce importance. And actually, ito yung nakakatawa, di ba? Pag importante sa'yo yung isang bagay, hindi ba dapat mas pagbuhusan mo ng effort at energy yun? Hindi ba dapat kung mahalaga sa'yo yung isang bagay, parang gawin mo lahat to actually, parang ibuhos mo lahat doon? This is what we mostly hear, di ba? Kung ito yung mahalaga at impactful at ito yung highest priority, ito yung dapat pagbuhusan natin ng pansin. And in some contexts, I actually do that too. And here's the thing. Love life analogy ulit. Well, for men. Kasi like, women hindi naman like normal na nanliligaw or at least as society puts it. Pero, naranasan niyo na ba, mga bro, na meron kang crush. Gusto mo talaga siyang ligawan. Pero yung oras mo sa araw-araw na may opportunity ka na ligawan siya, nauubos sa kakaisip na sana maging kami. Hindi sa panliligaw itself. Tapos merong isang guy na mas walang kwenta sa'yo, na mas gwapo ka pa, di ba? Tapos mas talented ka pa, di ba? Pero siya, lalapitan niya lang tapos didiskartehan niya na, tapos naunahan ka pa niya. Are you getting where I'm at? Yung energy natin, crush natin siya, mahalaga sa atin mahalaga sa atin yung person, pero napunta yung energy dun lang sa pagpapahalaga, hindi dun sa merong dapat gawin dahil mahalaga. And minsan, ginagawa na natin yung bagay na mahalaga, pero yung pagpapahalaga dun, kaagaw pa rin ng energy natin in doing what we need to do. Bakit? Kasi pag mahalaga sa atin, may paki tayo sa kung ano yung magiging resulta.
Okay, question.
Sige, yun ulit.
Question. Mabilis. Papaan? Kasi ganito eh. Maganda yun eh. I think this is an interesting question. Kasi I perfectly understand that it's not more sa panliligaw, it's more of on all things. Parang inisip natin, baka hindi ako pumasa or baka hindi ko makuha yung pera. Parang mga ganun. Or baka magalit yung mama ko mga ganun.
Sure.
Pero ano yung tamang assumption or parang tamang expected value? Yun yung word dito eh.
Yeah, good question, bro. It's related here. Now,
Alright.
yung backdrop na yun, I laid it out kasi yung tanong ni Glenn, how to overcome. Pag importante sa'yo isang bagay, mahalaga sa'yo yung magiging resulta ng gagawin mo doon. Pero kakaisip mo sa resulta, lalong hindi mo magawa yung kailangan mong gawin. Kasi yung energy mo nauubos na sa kakaisip doon sa pagpapahalaga. Doble yung consumption, lugi ka sa huli. Tapos minsan akala mo nagawa mo na lahat, pero hindi yun yung 100% mo. Kasi like yung 50% mo napupunta sa pagpapahalaga, hindi doon sa effort. So akala mo ginawa mo na lahat, hindi, kalahati lang yun. Kung kaya mo sanang alisin yung pagpapahalaga doon, mas marami kang pwedeng magawang resulta. So paano mo aalisin yung importance ng isang bagay? Hindi mo kailangan alisin yung importance, kailangan mo alisin yung attachment sa resulta. Pwede siyang manatiling mahalaga pero hindi ka obsessed na isa lang yung dapat kalabasan ng pangyayari ng efforts mo. Sorry, hindi ako galit. Kaya kasi ako nag-workshop ng ganito kasi naiinis na ako dun sa paulit-ulit na na nangyayari. So,
Pwede
yun.
pa ulit nga yung statement mo bago ka nagalit. Pwede siya manatiling mahalaga.
Pwede siya manatiling mahalaga, pero dapat mabawasan yung attachment mo sa resulta. So, yung sinasabi mo kanina bro, di ba nabanggit mo yung paano kung mangyari to, paano kung hindi mo ma-receive yung pera and stuff like that. That's actually, instead of, madalas ang naririnig natin, huwag mong isipin yung negative. Huwag mo, pag inisip mo yung negative, lalo yan mangyayari. Diba? Huwag kang, that positive thinking ka lang. Diba? Which is, well ngayon, pwede na ako makipagsabunutan kasi may book na ako eh. But the idea there is, that advice is crap. It's crap. One of the main things na pwede mong gawin para ma-reduce yung attachment mo sa result is to actually think of the worst case scenario. Is to actually consider na part ng spectrum ng lahat ng efforts mo sa isang bagay na mahalaga na pwede pa rin siyang maging malala yung resulta. Na pwede pa rin siyang mag-fail. Na pwede pa rin yung worst talaga yung mangyari. Pero ano yung nangyari pag naisip mo yung worst case scenario? You can now work on something that repairs the worst case scenario. You can now work on something that prevents the worst case scenario. Kumbaga, hindi end of the world yung worst case scenario. Pag nasa isip natin siya, nagmumukha siyang end of the world. And habang pinipigilan mong maisip kung ano yung worst na pwedeng mangyari, yung energy mo nakukonsume sa attachment about the positive result. Eh hindi ka naman Diyos. Hindi mo naman control lahat ng bagay. Meron pa rin room na mangyayari yung hindi mo inaasahan. So, if you ask kung ano yung worst case scenario, you reduce the attachment to a specific result. Mas nagiging flexible ka sa diskarte mo at sa galaw mo. Mas nagiging efficient kung nasan yung energy mo na i-spend. Hindi sa kakaisip sa resulta, kundi sa ano yung pwede ko kayang gawin. At kung mangyari to, ano yung sunod kong pwedeng gawin? At kung mangyari naman to, ano yung sunod kong pwedeng gawin? Meron kang bandwidth na actually mag-isip at maging creative at maging best version of yourself as a decision maker, as an entrepreneur, as the role that you want to play. As opposed to ubus na in the first place yung capacity natin kasi hati yung attention, attached sa resulta. Akala mo the best mo na yung nagagawa ko? Hindi, wala kayong sakaling kinga ng kaya mong gawin. Yeah, sorry. Like, pinipigilan ko yung sarili ko. But I hope that that answers the question, Glenn. How do you actually overcome it? Reduce the attachment. What I gave is one of the key things, but there's actually several more. So ito, sa attention management na siya babagsak. Because attachment is based on the frequency and the quality of attention we place onto something. And madalas ang attachment natin ay nasa results. I'd like to see more questions muna kasi ang dami palang nag-message sa boka ko. Not sure if I'm making sense. But yeah, let's clarify moving forward. Sana hindi yung mga love life analogies lang yung maalala nyo. How to prevent obsession sa isang bagay. Still related there, sis. Obsession is kind of an attachment. Pwede na mahalaga yung isang bagay and may outcome tayo na gustong mangyari. Pero hindi sa kakaisip about the outcome na pupunta yung energy natin and attention natin. Okay. Yes, in essence, it's overthinking. Though madalas kasi when we say overthinking, iniisip natin it's just about the mental capacities. Na kailangan meron siyang detalye. On the emotional side of things, or the subconscious side of things, hindi laging napuput into words kung paano tayo nagbibigay ng attention o energy sa isang bagay. Hindi siya laging kayang i-explain by words. Merong mga pagkakataon na bigla mo nalang nararamdaman na iba na yung sensation. Kahit wala ka naman talagang naiisip na specific words to describe kung ano yung sitwasyon. Pero nadidrain ka na. May kausap ka, una okay naman yung usapan nyo, may onting mga nasabi, tapos biglang nag-iba na yung atmosphere, tapos nadidrain ka na dun sa conversation instead of nung una exciting. Pero hindi mo rin maput into words kung ano yung nangyari. It still happens. So hindi lang siya basta overthinking. Pwede kasi nagkakaroon ng shift kahit wala ka talagang iniisip na specific stuff. So you can look at it as overfeeling too. Madalas kasi na-highlight yung overthinking. So hindi natin napapansin yung overfeeling. Which is actually, I think, the first time ko lang sinabi yung word na yun. May word ng overfeeling.
Yeah, pwede ba yun? Pwede mong parang, wag kang mag-overfeel.
Mag-invento na tayo.
Wag kang mag-overfeel.
The concept, it's the concept behind it that counts. Okay. Any other questions here? So parang just give it a try and let your effort and intentions show the results. I can say a full yes. Okay, but here's the thing, Ira. You've identified the action that you need to do. Okay? Now, pwedeng may pakialam ka sa resulta, pero it's more on a zoom out version. Ibig sabihin, kinoconsider mo yung worst case scenario as one end of the spectrum, and kinoconsider mo rin yung best case scenario as one end of the spectrum. Pero alam mo, both are possible, and posible rin na yung results mo ay hindi extreme on one end or the other. Pwede rin somewhere in between. So, it's a matter of knowing, ako ang ginagawa ko dito is to determine a good, better, best outcome. So aside from asking yourself, ano yung worst case scenario, ano ba yung good outcome, yung pwede na? Ano rin yung better outcome, which is better than the good? And then ano yung best case scenario? Para meron ka pa rin milestones or pwedeng paglaruan na klase ng resulta na alam mong pwede na. And kung nasa good ka na punta, stepping stone pa rin yun papunta sa better. Kung nasa better ka na punta, stepping stone pa rin yun papunta sa best. Kumbaga, you're viewing it now more as a progressive thing as opposed to a one outcome thing. Kasi kapag one outcome lang yung tinitingnan natin, lugi tayo kasi yung expectations natin skewed na kagad in the first place. Kumbaga, overestimate na natin yung pwedeng mangyari. Kasi hindi tayo handa kapag ang nangyari is hindi yung thing na ina-expect natin. So kapag one outcome thing lang, dun mas nabubuo yung sense of entitlement. Nakakala natin basta in-effortan natin, deserve natin yung resultang ina-expect natin. Pero merong mga factors na outside of our control. Merong mga factors na pwedeng mali pala yung ginagawa natin. May kailangan pa tayong matutunan, may prerequisites pa. So, lugi tayo sa ganung klase ng scenario. Tapos minsan, bumibiktima ka pa ng courses and programs na may certain promise na akala mo yun na talaga yun. Diba? Tapos pagpasok mo, ang haba pa pala ng kailangan kong aralin tsaka trabahuhin to make this work. Not kasalanan ng programs and courses. Tayong bumili. So, tayo may kasalanan doon actually. I'm just saying that that's one scenario that happens most of the time, especially in the entrep and freelancing world. Okay. Yes, Riz, fear setting exercise by Tim Ferriss, it's almost the same. Like tweaking it, like for the worst case scenario, there's this technique. This is from one of my mentors. He calls it the advantage technique. So, ang tanong lang lagi is, kapag na-figure out mo na kung ano yung worst case scenario, the question that you should ask is, what is the advantage of this? So that kahit mangyari yung worst case scenario, you still have a backup plan that you can do afterwards. Example, what if maging $1 yung Bitcoin? Like, invest ka ng 2 million, tapos naging $1 lang yung value ng Bitcoin. What's the advantage of Bitcoin being $1?
Buy more Bitcoin. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
Diba? I mean, if you look at it, it's a simple analogy. Diba? Like, what's the advantage of the worst case scenario? Meron ka pa rin pwedeng gawin. Hindi siya end of the world. Very seldom yung worst case scenario na tipong doon natitigil yung buhay mo. Pero pag nasa isip natin, parang katapusan na ng mundo, di ba? Tapos dahil sobrang lala niya pag nasa isip natin, most of our energy and attention goes there. Nasasayang, nagli-leak, nagbe-bleed nang hindi natin napapansin. What else do we have here? From Gwen, yeah, I'm noting this. Like, ano ko to? Like, panoorin ko to, Gwen.
Yung sunod kaya kay ano, ako na magsabi, kay Ses.
Regarding
life
areas. Yeah, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Sabi niyo po, build one muna, but there are possibilities to build. But are there possibilities to build or prioritize 2 areas at the same time?
Sure. You're actually building all 3. Walang titigil dyan. Sabay-sabay pa rin sila. It's just different percentages. Now, ito yung hindi ko na-explain kanina kasi I think I would lack time. Pero ngayon I can explain. Dalawa yung modes ng most people. It's either they go Super Saiyan mode. What that means is they put 100% of their resources, time, energy, and attention on one life area. Let's say a very successful businessman puts it on success. Pero wala talaga siyang pakialam sa pamilya niya, sa mga kaibigan niya, sa kung saan pa. May pakialam lang siya kung paano siya magkakaroon ng pera. So pag umuwi siya sa bahay nila, galit sa kanya yung mga anak niya. Yung mga kaibigan niya, oo, like kaya kausap siya and all dahil may pera siya, pero hindi dahil nire-respeto talaga siya bilang tao. Yung sarili niya, very hollow. Hindi rin siya ganun ka-satisfied na sa pera lang umiikot yung buhay niya. Pero kumbaga yun yung cycle sa nakasanayan niya, short-term fulfillment after short-term fulfillment. So, that's one mode, Super Saiyan mode. 100% on one area na pabayaan yung iba. Yung next naman, and I think statistically in the freelancing world, in the entrep world, mas dito nagpa-fall yung mga tao. It's Kage Bunshin mode. So from Naruto, it's his technique kung saan he splits himself in multiple copies. And then every copy can do like a different thing. Ang ginagawa ng most people, yung 100% of the resources, hinahati nila sa 3. Sabay-sabay nilang ginogrow yung 3 life areas with 33% of each of the resources. What eventually happens is nauubos sila. Kasi 33% is not enough to sustain something na mabuild mo with 1 life area or more. So my formula is actually called the 4th gear. 4th gear is from a character naman in One Piece. His name is Luffy. So he can enter that mode for a specific amount of time and he can accomplish a whole lot of stuff dun sa mode na yun na hindi niya kayang gawin kapag nasa normal siya na mode. Now, the allotment of that is 80% on one area and the 20% that's left on your resources, time, energy, and attention is divided between rank 2 and rank 3 area. And the goal for the rank 1 area is to build systems. So, building something na with less effort over time can accomplish the same kind of output on a repeated basis. 80% is what is required para mag-systematize sa isang life area. Anything less usually doesn't suffice. So, yeah, a good example of this is journey ni Chief John mismo, JTL. So there was a time na nagpaalam siya kay Queen Ma na kailangan niya muna mag-focus on building the freelance business for 9 months. Ibig sabihin, probably there's less time they were spending together, less a whole lot of stuff. Kumbaga, nag-take ng backseat yung other areas niya of life so that success can be the foremost thing. And when he figured it out, system is there, it's easier to scale. Kasi kapag may sistema ka na sa isang bagay, kapag inikot mo yung resources, kunyari, success yung inuna mo, may sistema na yung business mo, and then gusto mo naman mag-focus on relationships. Like example for me, I'm building business 9 out of 10 months a year. So, pwede ako mag-asawa if gusto ko like afterwards, diba? And I can focus on my marriage and business will still be the same. It will function the same because systems is there. Yun.
Okay.
Okay.
Walang mode 3, parang fourth gear agad. Parang mode 1, super saiyan, kage bunshin. Talagang, intentional na yung mode 3 fourth gear agad.
In essence, sa ngayon, yes, pero I'm working on something else to actually, pero hindi based on One Piece lang. I'm still looking for characters.
Alright, sa metaphor. Sige, kage metaphor.
Ang hirap din kaya.
Oo nga.
The
Sige.
concepts are there, but to explain it in
Yeah.
yeah.
So repeat ko lang yun, parang effort over time on a repeated basis, 80%.
Yep.
Diba? Kasi less effort, yun yung mangyayari.
But just to finish my thought, bro, like 80% yung success, 20% is divided between self and social.
Okay.
If gusto mo na yung social yung maging 80%, so lilipat yung 20% between success and self. Pero dahil may systems na yung success, even if konti lang yung percentage na ipuput mo doon, it will still have the same results. So mababalanse yung buhay kung umiikot yung 80% at 20%.
Sige, push natin. May next question. May recording ba daw?
Yeah, may recording pero
Magbabayad ka ba daw?
plano ko i-edit pa siya and stuff, and I may add a few more stuff.
May bonus, nice.
This is actually parang a way to give back lang rin naman talaga. Plus to satisfy my rant. So parang mas pabor niya sa akin to kasi naiinis na ako. So kumbaga yung charge ko na pupunta doon. so this is an outlet for release at least.
Okay. Kage, from Alay, how do I stop compromising rest times when I feel like the tasks aren't finished? I feel the same actually. My mind is still on,
Yes.
but my body doesn't want me anymore. Parang ganon. Or parang my spirit is still on, but the brain cannot absorb any more information. It happens multiple times on a daily basis. Parang ganon sa akin.
Ano?
Go.
When you're on your rest time, tapos your brain is like, oh no, yung mga task na naiwan ko. Parang
Even
ganon.
after, no? Hindi lang during, no? Even after. Parang proper and post kage, paano i-address yun? Yung
Sure.
guilty feeling.
Like madalas kasi pag iniisip natin habits, action yung nasa isip natin, diba? Parang araw-araw magko-connect, araw-araw na parang maliligo yun. But there are habits that are on the mental side as well. Kumbaga, thought patterns. Kumbaga, the go-to thoughts that we usually, kumbaga tinatambayan ng utak natin. Okay? So, merong mental habits. So, if you find yourself na yung paulit-ulit na train of thought is actually, kumbaga, ayun, paulit-ulit siya. So, it's a mental habit basically. You can't help yourself but to think those same patterns. Okay? So, hindi ko alam if na-explain ko na dati, visa access pa rin to. Dalawa yung klase ng tao. Merong mga tao na ang nagbe-break sa pattern nila is to have a specific realization. Something na hindi pa nila naisip before. So that's on the insight side of things. People need fresh insight, a new realization, para ma-break yung patterns nila. Mental man yan or like habits talaga. Yun yung one category. And then meron din mga tao na para ma-break yung patterns nila, they need to have new action. They need to test something out, something na hindi pa nila nagagawa before. A new kind of endeavor na pwede nilang i-pursue. Kasi both of that, new realization or new action, will show us things na hindi pa natin nakikita before. It will give us chances to change perspectives. So, the idea is to challenge your patterns. If it's a mental habit, usually what breaks it is a new action. So, what's an action you haven't done before that challenges the mental habit? If ikaw naman yung klaseng tao na yung habit naman yung hindi mo break, like action naman, then a new realization is what you need. A new insight is what you need. So, what things can you look at so that pwede kang magkaroon ng bagong realization regarding your habit na hindi mo break? So, yun. Kung ano yung mas normal sa atin, kung mas normal na mental habits yun, action yung kailangan natin. Kung mas normal na action yung kailangan i-break, new realization yung kailangan natin. So, that's the two sides of the spectrum. Ang nakakatawa lang dito is meron tayong mas dominant tendency. Kapag ang dominant tendency mo is mag-isip, nandun sa insight, ang itatry mong pang-resolve ng problema mo is pag-iisipan mo lalo yung problema mo. Kapag ang dominant na side mo naman is on taking action, tutuloy mo lang ang ginagawa mo kahit nararamdaman mong hindi siya nag-work, kahit nararamdaman mong nade-drain ka, kahit nararamdaman mong like may nangyayari ba dito sa ginagawa ko una. Kumbaga, ay pang sa-solve mo, dodoblehin mo yung effort mo o yung action mo, di ba? So, kunyari, like walang nag-accept sa connection request mo, and nagte-10 request ka lang a day sa LinkedIn. Sige, ibebente ko para may mag-accept. pero mali mo yung mismo connection message mo yung mali. And stuff like that. Which is kahit doblehin mo yung action na hindi nag-work, hindi pa rin yung nag-work. But the tendency for people na action yung mas normal sa kanila is galaw pa rin sila ng galaw nang hindi pinag-iisipan yung galaw. So, you need to know kung ano yung mas dominant sa'yo. And you need to challenge it by going to the other side of the spectrum. Haba ng setup ko, Ali, no? To answer,
Grabe.
to answer your question.
Nasagot sa akin kagi. Sigurado ko nasagot kay Alay yan. Kay Alay, nasagot ba Alay?
Hindi.
Yeah, okay. Set up pa yun.
Woo! If it will just dive deeper into that, yung resting. Kasi madalas mong naiisip, ano kaya yung mangyayari dun sa ibang pang mga task na dapat tapusin kahit nagpapahinga ka na. Diba? So,
Pwede ka bang...
Bro,
May
tayo ano
naisip
kagi.
ako.
May mga juicy questions pa tayo for more and counting. So, baka, ayan, tanong mo, nasabi ko
we
lang.
have 16 minutes.
May
Ayan.
naisip ako sa parang may naisip ako sa tanong ko.
Okay.
Siguro to solve it. Wow, ang sarap. Ang naisip ko is parang solution is to schedule mo na para wala na siya sa, parang yung mind up mo na tapos i-schedule mo na. Para alam mo na anong mangyayari or pagpupuntahan ng task. Dahil hindi siya may isip.
That's something you've done before.
Okay, I know where you're going.
Nalala kita eh. So, that's something you've done before. Now, and
Yes.
also if you look at that, what you're trying to resolve there is nasa time management level pa rin. You're trying to manage time as the resource. What we're doing here is far more advanced. You're going for the energy or the attention level. Okay? So, here's an idea in mind. Not to spoon feed you mismo. Pero an idea in mind is reducing attachment. Reducing attachment pa din. So I'll give two more ways to actually reduce attachment. Looking at my notes, one thing is about identity. Madalas, yung mga nagagawa natin o hindi natin nagagawa, nire-relate natin sa success or failure ng kung sino tayo as a person. Kumbaga, alam naman natin yun na, di ba, parang kalokohan naman yun, na pwede kang mag-fail pero hindi ka failure. Di ba? At pwede ka rin mag-succeed pero hindi ka, hirap pala nung pangalawa. Ano tawag doon? Like, pwede kang magkaroon ng wins pero hindi ibig sabihin, like, totally
Successful?
successful ka na. Di ba?
Pwede kang nag-drive na Ferrari pero hindi gawin may-ari ng Ferrari.
Diba? In a sense. Pero, there's this sense na ina-attach natin lagi sa kung sino tayo, sa halaga natin as a person, kung ano yung nagagawa natin o hindi natin nagagawa. O nagagawa natin ng tama o nagagawa natin ng mali. So, identity. So, questions that revolve around, with the rest that you are doing, anong part ng identity mo yung ino-honor mo? That's one thing you can look at. And at the same time, ano yung dishonor mo kapag dapat nagre-rest ka and then hindi ka fully nagre-rest? Now, when it comes to attachment, you look at, kung hindi mo magawa, anong tingin mo sa sarili mo?
Unproductive, pabaya, ganun.
But, is that always true?
No!
So, you reduce attachment by being clear about your identity. Ibig sabihin, kahit nagpapahinga ka, ino-honor mo yung sarili mo. And kung kailan mo kailangan gawin yung task na yun, may other parts of your identity na ino-honor mo doon sa moments na kailangan mong gawin yan. You reduce attachment by shifting, ano ba yung identity na ino-honor mo? In rest times, in work times, in different types of priority. Another thing that relates to that is fear versus worry.
Ano kaya? Fear versus worry?
Fear versus
Okay.
worry.
Fear?
So, there's, pag mahalaga sa atin yung isang bagay, may pakitayo sa kung ano yung mangyayari about it. Now, on the flip side, pag wala tayong pakita sa isang bagay, di ba? Example, may basher ka sa Facebook, di ba? Tapos di mo naman kilala, tapos yung pangalan niya, ano ba? Ano kung pangalan, parang Hadouken 1, 2, 3. Tapos walang profile picture, di ba? Parang, would you actually be offended with the comment of that person? Di ba? Na, di ba? Parang wala mo siyang, sa buhay, wala mo siyang pakialam sa buhay mo and all. Pero, if nanay mo yung mag-comment, tapos sabihin sa'yo na, na parang, wala, tabingin yung kilay mo. Or kung ano pa man, di ba? Mas merong epekto in a sense kasi mahalaga sa atin yung person. Di ba? Now, bakit kaya madalas we're caught up in inaalala natin yung iisip sa atin ng ibang tao even if wala naman talagang relationship level? Nag-aalala tayo. Wala naman talaga tayo dapat pake pero nag-aalala tayo. So, you see how that is an extreme. You see how that is overboard. As opposed to caring. I'll just give this one illustration. Kanina, na-hospital yung tatay ko. Nasa dentista ako kasi kumakain akong chocolate kagabi. Tapos natanggal yung pustiso ko. So, sakto, nasa sa Maginhawa yung dentist. Malapit lang sa Marikina pumunta ako. Now, nagpapanik yung buong pamilya kasi na-hospital yung tatay ko. So, tinawag nila ako doon kasi ako lang yung kalmadong tao sa buong pamilya namin. So, nakausap ko yung doktor. Wala, 24 hours lang, re-release na rin yung tatay ko. Kailangan na obserbahin. So, parang ako, ba't Pag tinawag dito, pambira naman kayo, pwede naman kausapin ng hindi nagpapanik tong ano, di ba? That's actually worry. What I displayed is care. You see the difference? How worry exaggerates things. But care, you still place importance on something, but it doesn't compromise your function. Pag nag-aalala ka, napaparalyze ka. Pag meron kang tamang care, yes, may pakialam ka pa rin, pero nagpa-function ka pa rin ng maayos. Matino yung pag-iisip mo. Hindi ka compromised. So, if you look at that, nasan yung level na on attachment mo? Nasan yung level na nag-worry ka na? And nasan yung level na nag-care ka lang? If you can find that distinction, then you will always have that guideline na, wait, nag-worry na ako. I need to get back to care. Pag mayroong mga emergency na nangyayari, yung mga tao nagpapanik, sila yung mas walang nagagawa. Pero nagbumukhang sila yung mas may pakialam. Pero hindi sila yung kapakipakinabang. Diba? Pag may nalulunod, tapos sila nagpapanik as if nalulunod din sila. Diba? As opposed to a lifeguard na may nalulunod tapos stay strong. Iligtas nila yun and that's it. Pareho silang may pake. Pero yung isa, sobra yung pake to the point na hindi na siya functional. Yung isa, tamang level lang ng pake.
Alright, okay, next question tayo. Marami.
Bibira, sige.
Sige, which should you trust more, feelings or thoughts?
Feelings will always come from thoughts. Regardless if you can pinpoint kung saan siya galing o hindi, mapansin mo man kaagad kung saan siya galing o hindi, it will always come from thoughts.
So which should you trust more, feelings?
Isa lang sila in essence eh. But mas mahirap mapansin yung thoughts. So here's the thing, mas madalas, especially for women, mas madalas mapapansin mo nag-shift na yung mood mo. Pag nag-shift na yung mood mo, yung nararamdaman mo, ibig sabihin may nag-shift sa thoughts mo. Same thing with men. It's just that, sa atin naman, mas una nating na-figure out yung thoughts. So, your feelings will always be an evidence of what you have thought about or what you're giving attention to inside your head.
Alright, next question. How can you remove the attachment sa result or successfully divert your attention? Nasagot natin to, no? Kanina.
Yeah.
By reducing the attachment on the identity. Na
I would like point out a few more that come to mind. Justification. Yung justification na tipong kapag meron kang nagawang mali o magagawa pa lang na mali, iniisipan mo na kagad ng Diyos. So there's a task at hand and alam mo hindi ka pa expert doon, pero i-justify mo yung non-expertise mo by filling it with other stuff. Or basically you're spending energy in hiding your flaws, in protecting yourself, as opposed to just doing the task. Yun is an attachment amplifier. If you're focusing on protecting yourself, hiding your flaws, justifying your deficiencies, yung energy is more consumed than it should. Attachment is more there. Yeah.
Okay, so don't hide your flaws, diba? Instead, accept and take action. So, next question. What if you put in the effort and don't overthink pero napapagod ka na kasi wala pa yung gusto mong results? Yan, medyo regarding impatience ba to? What do you think?
Ang mangyayari, one of the evidences that you're not attached to the result is that you'll have fun and you'll enjoy the journey. If at any point in time, nawawala yung sense na na-enjoy mo yung journey, that should be a signal na kailangan mong tingnan if naging attached ka dun sa resulta. So it's always gonna be a layer of feeling responsible about something and then feeling fun and enjoyment about something. The more you feel that something is a responsibility, the less fun you. Two ends of the spectrum pa rin siya. So one end is the sense of responsibility and then the sense of enjoyment. And nag-aagawan sila lagi. Kapag mas ramdam mo na responsibilidad o obligasyon yung isang bagay, it's less fun. Kapag ramdam mo na mas enjoy mo yung isang bagay, you won't even think of it as a responsibility. And in essence, as a principle, this is what I have. What's fun gets done.
What's fun gets done?
Kapag mas na-enjoy mo yung isang bagay, even if responsibility yun in the first place, pero enjoyment yung nararamdaman mo about it, mas marami kang magagawa at mas marami kang magiging output regarding that thing.
Alright, tama eh. What's fun gets done. Oh. Ayos. Okay, so meron tayong two more. If you focus on S and other two S are taken backseat. Actually, nasagot to, but baka may thoughts ka pa. Parang hirap mag-focus sa without thinking the success. Di ba? And okay lang po mag-bare minimum on the other S. Actually, di ba 80% yung rotation? So
80-20.
80-20 rotation. Mas mabilis pag
Reverse Pareto.
Reverse Pareto, ayun, yeah.
Pero
Yung pala yung mas kailangan, reverse Pareto.
Hindi lang siya basta ganun, bro.
Hindi basta ganun. Guys,
Kailangan reverse Pareto, so 80 is ang rank one area, but the focus is building systems. Pwede kasi na 80% na yung nilagay mo sa one area, pero hindi naman system yung focus mo. So kapag lumipat ka sa ibang area, back to zero ulit yun. Kasi wala kang na-establish na sistema eh. So it's reverse Pareto plus systems. Hindi lang basta the allotment.
Okay, so yun. So yeah, focus on systems by doing reverse prayer. Last question, sakto. We have two more minutes before 9. Then we can wrap things up. How do you eliminate worry? Eh, nasagot na kanina yun, doon sa characters and getting things done. But you have thoughts on that or okay na yun?
Yung worry kasi, there's a sense na parang feeling mo mas in control ka kapag sinisimulate mo lahat ng pwedeng mangyari sa utak mo na negative. Pero, yung energy na pupunta sa sana hindi to mangyari. Doon nauubos. Yes, naisip mo lahat ng potential stuff. Pero hindi, ang mode is, iwasan ko to lahat. You eliminate worry by embracing that fully. Lahat ng naisip mo that you're worrying about, embrace that fully and consider them as possibilities. Because there's a different level of creativity that is unlocked kapag balance yung nakikita mo na outcomes sa pwedeng mangyari. As opposed to, pinupush mo yung sarili mo, ine-effortan mo na andun ka lang sa positive, pero alam mo pa rin at the back of your head na all of these other negative things are possible. So doble na agad yung energy na ini-spend mo preventing that to happen. Dahil di ka naman naniniwala na parang, alam mo, parang push and pull siya eh. Stuck ka lang in the middle. Posible siyang mangyari pero ayaw mo tanggapin.
Solid. Ang ganda ng ano. Kage sakto, just right on time. We're finished. 9 p.m. Kage. You can wrap things up, Kage.
Yeah.
O gusto mong salita mo na yung mga tao.
I just really want to thank everyone that's here. And actually, hindi naman dito nagtatapos eh. Kasi I'll be sending a material pa by tomorrow morning. The idea is, ayaw natin na maging head knowledge lang ito. Probably may nasulat ka na action steps from here or something that you can do from this discussion. Pero I want you to get the full benefit. And the full benefit is to actually map things out using these concepts instead of like, kumbaga, mabitin siya into something na alam mo lang here pero hindi mo ma-apply or hindi magkakaroon ng outlet of application. So 70% of learning is in applying the things that we consume and hindi talaga buo yung learning natin if wala na. So yeah, simula pa lang to, hindi ito yung end. We're ending the workshop, we're ending this session, pero I hope there's a lot more benefit and growth that you can get out of using this framework, these concepts. So yeah, yun lang naman. Wala na akong ano, like, wala akong sasabihin. Wala akong ipopromote na program, wala akong kahit ano, walang funnel na kailangan ka mag-sign up in. So,
Kaya nga, sayang. Ready pa naman sila bumili.
Pero,
Guys.
sa akin, thankful lang ako na nakapag-rant ako and I think there's a value out of the rant.